Hi, everyone. So in the previous session, you got an introduction to the Darwin Core Standard, its structure, and the required fields that you would have to populate in order to publish your data to OBIS. So now that you know what the mapping is between your raw data and the Darwin Core Standard, it's time to start cleaning up your data in order to align with the conventions as they are described in the standard. So in this brief session, we'll go over the three most common conversions that a dataset will likely have to undergo. And these include, first of all, ensuring that your dates follow the ISO 8601 standard, matching your scientific names to an authoritative resource, and ensuring that the latitude and longitude of your sampling coordinates are in decimal degrees. Now, thankfully, there are packages in both R and in Python that can deal with the standardization of these fields programmatically. The exercises that are listed below are intended to give you a sense of the variability that we've seen in datasets. Please note, however, that the options or the packages below are not the only ones that deal with these conversions, but in our experience, they are the ones that are most often used. So to begin, it's important to get your dates in order. In Darwin Core, your dates are included under the term event date, and dates need to be in the ISO 8601 format, which means that you'd have to provide a 4-digit year, a 2-digit month, and a 2-digit day, separated by hyphens. Now, dates can represent moments in time at different resolutions, as well as at an interval level, in which case you would have to use a slash as a separator. You can also record your time in the ISO standard, but you'll have to make sure that you include the time zone. Date and time are typically separated by T. Timestamps can have a time zone indicator at the end. If you don't have this indicator at the end, it is assumed that your reported time is the local time. Personally, I find it to be pretty good use or pretty good practice to standardize your date and time to UTC, in which case your event date would be followed by a Z at the end. Important things to consider are whether or not your sampling event takes place over multiple time zones or throughout the year where daylight saving time may or may not come into effect. And there are definitely packages in R and Python to help you with this. And below are some of the examples and solutions in Python to deal with these. Secondly is matching your scientific names to a taxonomic authority. So OBIS uses the Worms Registry of Marine Species, or WORMS, as the taxonomic backbone to its system. The key Darwin Core term here is the scientific name ID, which in Worms is the life science identifier. But you can also grab other taxonomic information, such as the taxonomic rank or other taxonomic hierarchical information. There are different ways and different packages that can be used to grab this information. One method, for example, is to use the Worms taxon match tool, which accepts lists of scientific names. And then the tool provides an interface for you to select the appropriate match, which can greatly help when, for example, names are either misspelled or there are slightly ambiguous matches. The other way to get taxonomic information programmatically is through R, for example, using the Worms package, and that's Worms with 2 R's. And within Python, there's a package called PyWorms. And there are some examples listed below that you're more than welcome to work through in your own time. Finally, it's important to get your sampling coordinates in decimal degrees. So the latitude and longitude coordinates of your sampling event or of your observation should be standardized to the Darwin Core terms decimal latitude and decimal longitude. Decimal latitude should be within the range of -90 to 90 inclusive, whereas decimal longitude should be within the range of -180 to 180 inclusive. Now, the requirement for decimal latitude and decimal longitude is, as the name sort of implies, that the values have to be in decimal degrees and in WGS 84. So WGS 84 is the required coordinate reference system of your observations, and this is required for Darwin Core. WGS 84, or the spatial coordinate reference system, should be recorded under the geodetic datum column. We highly recommend checking the coordinate reference system of your observation, and if the coordinates are not using WGS 84, that they will have to be converted in order to be able to standardize, or sorry, in order to be able to mobilize and publish your data to OBIS. So there are a couple of helpful packages for managing your coordinate reference system. In Python, this is GeoPandas, and in R, this is RGDAL and SP. So a quick recap for all of you. R and Python do offer different packages for helping you align your dates, coordinates, and your tags observed to the conventions that are required within the Darwin Core standard. For dates and time, the standard that you'd have to align your values to is the ISO 8601 standard, whereas coordinates need to be recorded in decimal degrees. Finally, for OBIS, it is required that you match your taxa with their respective worms life science identifier. Now, feel free to work through any of the exercises listed on this page. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either myself or one of the other instructors, and we'd be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much.